All right, hello. This is Miss Keegas, and we're going to go over the review for Unit 2. All right. Let's start with number 1 here. All right. Stewart invests 1,200 GPBP in a bank that offers interest rate at a rate of 2.8% compounded annually. Work out how long it will take for his money to double. There's a couple of different ways you could do this. You could use the future value model. You could also use the finance app. So I'm going to go over the finance app just to kind of remind you how we use that. So since we're trying to figure out how long, that's N. So we really don't know what N is. So we're going to put 0 for that. We know the interest rate is 2.8. We know the present value is 1,200. Now remember, we're going to do negative 1,200 for present value because that's how much came out of Stewart's pocket. There is no payment, so we're going to put 0 for that. And the future value is we want to know when it'll double, so that's $2,400. Payments per year is once, and compounded yearly is once, because they said compounded annually. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in our calculator, which I can show you also on the screen. Split view, calculator, if my app will work. All right, so we're going to go to apps, time value money solver. All right, I'm just going to put 0 in there for now, negative 1,200 for present value, 0 for payment, 2,400, 1 it looks like it's at. And then I'm going to go back up to N, and I'm going to do alpha enter to get that to solve. So since it's 25.1 years, unfortunately, you can't round down. So we're going to go ahead and round up and say 26 years. You get penalized a lot if you take your money out early. So we're going to say 26 years. All right. So that's one way you could solve these finance problems. And I know I'm going to use that and not like an exponential model or a power model because it's talking about money. Okay. 2, Thomas invests 1,500 US dollars in a bank that offers interest rate of 1.9% per annum, which means per year compounded monthly. Find how much he has in the bank at the end of 7 years. So again, you could use the finance app, which I just showed you. So this time I'm going to show you how you could use the future value formula. So it's the future value equals the present value, which is 1,500. 1 plus the interest rate divided by 100 times K, which is how often it's compounded, which in this case is monthly. So we're going to do times 12 to the K times T. All right, so that's your future value formula that's available on your finance, on your formula sheet. So typey all that in, you should get $1,713.19, which we can just say 1,713, or if you were doing 3 sig figs, you would do 1,710. All right, so find out how long it will take before he has $2,500 in the U.S. bank. So again, I could use the equation, the future value equation. I could use y equals, or I could use the finance app. So I'm going to use the finance app for this one. So again, we don't know what N is. So I'm going to put 0 or leave it blank for now. We know the interest rate is 1.9. Present value is negative 1,500. There is no payment. Future value is, we want to know when it'll reach 2,500. Payments per year is 1 because the bank's paying you out interest like once a year, but it's compounded monthly. So I'm going to change that to 12. So I'm going to go to my finance app. I'm going to type this all in. .9. Oops. Didn't want that decimal. Enter, enter 2,500, enter, enter 12. All right, so I want to find how long. So I'm going to go back up to N. Really doesn't want to cooperate with me. There we go. Alpha, enter. 26.9, so 27 years. To pause the video if you get the right answers. Okay. But I'll keep plugging away here. The next one is Julia wants to buy a house that requires a $74,000 deposit. She's going to invest an amount in an account that pays an interest rate of 5.5% compounded monthly. Find the amount that Julia needs to invest to reach 74,000 after 8 years. So again, we could use the finance app. If we were using the app, then we know how many years. We know it's 8. We know that our interest is 5.5. We know our, I just drew a blank on what's the next thing on the app. Present value is what we're trying to find, so we're going to do 0. Payment, we don't know. She's not paying anything yet. She's just trying to buy a house. We want the future value to be the 74,000 that she wants to be able to put down. Payments per year would be 1, but the money is compounded 12 times a year. Compounded monthly. All right, so we need to find how much Julia needs to invest right now so that she can have 74,000 to buy this house. So I'm going to go back up to present value and do alpha enter. When you do that, you should get $47,706.63, but it says give your answer to the nearest dollar. So I'm going to round that to 7. All right. Part B says Julia's parents offer to add 5,000 to her initial investment. However, only if she invests her money in a more reliable bank that pays 3.5% compounded quarterly. Find the number of years it would take Julia to save 74,000 if she accepts her parents' money and follows their advice. Give your answer to the nearest year. All right, so in this case, we're trying to find the number of years. Now the interest rate would be 3.5. The present value, because she needed to invest $4,707 of her own money, but her parents are going to add $5,000 to that. That's $52,707. Negative because it's coming out of her pocket. There is no payment. Okay. We know the future value is $7,000 or $74,000. payments per year. Again, the bank's only going to pay you once per year typically in these cases, and it's compounded quarterly. So I'm using the app again, but this time I want to know the number of years. And I'm going to go, after I've entered everything, I'm going to go to N and do alpha, enter. I forgot to do the negative for the principal value, so it said error. All right. So I get 9.71 years about, so about 10 years because it says in the directions to the nearest. All right, so that's the first part of the chapter that we did was the finance app. So the second thing we started doing was logarithms. Okay, so this first part just says write the equation in its equivalent exponential form. Remember, this little number here is the base. This number that it's equal to is the exponent. Okay, so in exponential form, we're going to start with the base. 9 to the, and this feels weird, 81 equals x. They're trying to trick you for that one. Remember, anytime you have ln, that really means log base e. So I can rewrite this one starting with the base e. So that's the base. 4 is the exponent. X is the answer. So in exponential form, they look like powers. This next part says write in log form. So we're going to start with the log. It's a little subscript base of the answer equals the exponent. Logs equal exponents. For part B, remember logs and roots don't go together. So we're going to rewrite this as 343 to the 1/3. Cube root is the same as the 1/3 power. Rewrite this as a log. It's log base 343 of the answer equals the exponent. So they don't have a formula for you like this on the formula sheet with the words, but I'm going to write it in words for you. So they're going to say log base x equals y. All right, evaluate or simplify the expression. If you can do these in your head, great. If not, you can use the magic button in the calculator. So for part A here, I know this is really asking me 2 to what power is 16? So I can do 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, so 4. If you don't want to do that in your head, then you can use the magic button on the calculator. We're going to go to math, come on calculator, arrow up to log base, oops, it's because I didn't quit out of the app, math, arrow up to log base 2 of the answer equals the exponent, which is 4, because 2 to the 4th is 16. 4 to what power is 4? That one's a little tricky, but that's going to be 1/3 because it's the cube root. Let's see what it does on your calculator. Does it give you the decimal? Let's see. Math, log base, 64, 4. Yes, it gives me the decimal 0.3333. Hopefully you recognize that that's a fraction. Otherwise, you can change it to a fraction. Alright. Ooh, I like this one, part B. Ln and E cancel each other out, so the answer here is just 7, because it's really asking you e to what power is e to the 7th, is what it's really asking you, so it's got to be 7. Same thing here, log base 10 and base 10 cancel each other out, so the answer is just 9. Or you can put it in the calculator.